move into this time of meditation, if you will, please remove everything from your lap and sit in an open position. And start to breathe. Breathe in the community of Unity Modesto. Breathe in those who are here with you today. And breathe into your heart the energy and the love of the divine feminine, that mother energy that sustains us. Breathe. Breathe. Breathe and allow your heart to open. Allow anything that does not serve you fall away. And open. Open to the possibility, to the love that is within you and that flows from all of those around you, especially today. Those who have served in the role of mother or mother figure are blessed today, and we honor what gifts they have given each one of us as we have grown to the person we are today. We honor that. And we embrace it. And as we exhale each moment, we allow that divine love to flow out from us to our world. As we move into the silence this morning, breathe in the love that you were given and breathe it out to the world. As we move into the silence. On this day, as we go forward to the celebrations that we have or don't have, whatever it looks like for you today, allow the divine feminine to flow out from your heart to those you come in contact with. Allow them to feel what I feel from you each week. And know that just that heart-centered love that comes from each one of you changes lives. Go forth today and love and be loved. Happy Mother's Day. Good morning. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. I am honored to have my mom here with me today. And we came in a little bit late. This is the first time she's ever seen me live. This is Sunday morning live here. So how many of you ever wrote a letter to your mom? So Mom, just so you know, these are fake, okay? These are not the ones I actually wrote to you, but we took some literary license here. So go ahead and bring the first one up. So it would go something like this. Mommy, I love you.
your daughter, Cindy. So please notice that, like she didn't know I was her daughter, as she would affirm to me, 72 hours of labor, I know this. And of course, the fine art stick figures over there, were pretty awesome stuff back in the day. So what is a mom? Is it defined by gender? Is it defined by a role, by birth? What is it defined by? So I was mothered by many people in my life. Up till the age of 14, Mom was in the house. And then after that, things kind of changed. And all through my life, I've had many aunts, I've had lovely grandmothers, and I've had neighbors who actually stepped in and helped my dad out after my mom and dad got divorced. So there's been a lot of people in my life who exemplified mom and the mother attributes. The revealing word defines motherhood as the brooding, nourishing element of divine mind or God, in which spiritual ideas are brought to fruition. The divine mother energy is our creative side. So as we embrace that, we move forward. So I look, you know me, I have to Google and look up definitions, right? So the definition of motherhood is the state of being a mother. That was clear. Or the qualities or spirit of a mother. More clarity. So what does that mean? So I went to Google, and I Googled like the attributes of a mother. And I got things like a mother should be kind and loving. A mother should be soft and loving. And those weren't attributes of motherhood to me. They were ways to behave in my perception. So I went to Carolyn Myss. How many of you know Carolyn Myss? She did a lot of stuff on sacred contracts, archetypes. So Carolyn Myss has a defined definition of the mother archetype. And she says, it is the life giver, the source of nurturing and nourishment, unconditional fountain of love, patience, devotion, caring, and unselfish acts. This archetype is the keeper and protector of life. From children to the family to the greater Mother Nature archetype, whose province is the earth and all life. Mother Nature, also known as Gaia, is the goddess of life, the caretaker of the living environment of this planet. She is recognized as powerful, and when storms leave death and destruction in their wake, she may be referred to as wrathful. The power of compassion and the endless capacity to forgive her children and put them before herself are essential to the good mother. She continues with, just as women can have a real connection to the father archetype when they take on the paternal role in the household, so some men may relate to being Mr. Mom, yet another contemporary sculpting of the mother archetype. So in my life, I had two very pronounced influences of Mr. Mom. The first was my dad. So after Mom and Dad got divorced, Dad had to step into those roles with a 14-year-old girl. Wasn't easy for Dad. Dad was a manly man. He was a construction kind of guy. So there were some topics that my father was not comfortable with. And so he would defer to his sisters or his mom, or I think he made a few phone calls to my mom saying, what do I do here? Sometimes it was a neighbor who came in and straightened my act out. But he was there for all of those teenage, angsty years. I had a 14 to 18-year-old. he did pretty well considering. The other one was my former husband, which happens to be my mother's favorite ex-husband. And David was, he really was more of a mom than I was, to be honest with you. He was a better housekeeper than I was. I had the cleanest floors in the neighborhood, and all my female friends were jealous because of that. I had white floors. My kitchen was almost as big as his sanctuary, and he washed it every day. Wasn't going to be me. He was organized. We had calendars up on the wall, and he kept track of who went where, when, with whom, and how long, and who brought everybody back. And if it wasn't for that stuff, life would have been chaos. And he ran carpools, he coached, he did everything. And I just got to kind of be there and just be the female in the house, kind of a thing. So both my dad and David were truly exemplifying attributes of motherhood by being thrust in that role. So the second letter that comes up is that one. The 14-year-old attitude letter. Mother, I can't believe you sent me to camp. This is so lame. You owe me big time. Me. Which is kind of what my attitude was like back then. It still can be, actually. And I'm sure that, upon receiving letters like this, most moms would go, oy, and we still kept doing it because that's what you do as a mom, and you kind of have to push all this aside. So I went back to Google, and I came up with 4 women from the Bible who, to me, exemplify the attributes of mothers, motherhood, divine feminine. The first one is Mary, the mother of Jesus. So what attribute do you think she exemplifies?
Patience.
Patience would be one. There's something bigger. Love. Absolutely. So Mary exemplifies undying divine love. From birth until death, she was by her son's side. She was there at his birth. She walked with him through his ministry. She was one of his ministers. And she stood and watched as he was crucified and resurrected. Undying divine love is exemplified in her actions. Now, Hannah was the mother of Samuel. And as was the custom, many young men were given to the temple to be raised by the temple and taught the spiritual tools and the scriptures of the time. And so, at a very young age, Samuel was sent to the temple to be taught by the priests. And every year they would make a pilgrimage to the temple to make their annual offerings. And one of those offerings every year was a garment that she wove herself and presented to her son. So she exemplifies untiring sacrifice. How many of you have sacrificed something for your children at one point or another? Absolutely. So the next one is Jochebed. Now you may not recognize the name, but you will know her as the mother of Moses and Aaron and Miriam. Now the story goes that at the time, it's when Herod, I think it was, I have to check. Pharaoh decreed that all firstborn male children were to be put to death. So Jochebed wrapped her son, put him in a basket, and put him in the bulrushes to be safe as the Pharaoh's army went through and killed all the men, all the little boys. He was found by Pharaoh's daughter and taken into the court of Pharaoh and raised as Pharaoh's own. Now, they had to get a wet nurse. And it just so happened that they brought Jochebed in to wet nurse Moses. So she was with him all the days of his lives, and she would teach him things, at her breast. And as he grew into a young man, there was some opportunity for her to have conversation with her son. And so Jochebed represents the attribute of untold influence. By her very presence there, she was able to instill in Moses the things that would stand him in good stead and to lead the slaves out of Egypt eventually. The last mother comes in the New Testament. So the Apostle Paul traveled a lot. They all traveled a lot back then. And as he was traveling, he met a young man named Timothy. And he also met Timothy's mother Eunice and his grandmother Lois. Now, as Timothy was a young man growing up, his mother and his grandmother would read the scriptures to him. Now remember, this is all Old Testament scripture, not New Testament, because that had yet to be written. So she's reading to him all of the Torah and all of the ancient scriptures that she could get her hands on, and basically gave Timothy a very solid foundation in faith. Timothy became the writer of the book of Timothy, and the influence that he got from his mother and grandmothers demonstrate unfailing faith. Unfailing faith. Which brings me back to my mom. So, the next card. So, as you grow up and life gets busy, Mom would get cards that kind of look like these. And it said, "Some kids need extra room to grow." I know. I was one of them. Right, Mom? My mother is a woman of unfailing faith. When she got divorced from my dad, she was very active in the Catholic Church. And she was excommunicated by the minister or the pastor of the church. Did it stop her? Nope. My mother still went to church every Sunday, still practiced her faith. The only thing she didn't do was receive the sacraments, but she never stopped. She kept right on going. She did her devotionals every day. We celebrated Christmas. We celebrated Advent. We celebrated Lent. We did not eat meat on Friday. Those kinds of things. So her religious and spiritual practice did not change because somebody said you can't. Because her faith was and is strong. She also sent an example to me of undying love. For her husband, who passed away last year, and untiring sacrifice, she was there, kept him home till the day he died at 90, almost 94. And through all of that, I got to see glimpses of hysteria. Well, it was hysterical. Being in the house with my mother and my stepfather was absolutely hysterical. Because she'd go into the room with him in the morning, and they would start singing. "She'll Be Coming Round the Mountain" was a popular one. What else did you guys sing? All kinds of stuff. He was a square dance caller. They both loved to sing. So out of the bedroom would come all this joyful song. He couldn't walk and he couldn't move, but there was still joy. There was still an undying love between the two of them. And there was untold untold influence and undying faith that were demonstrated through me all the days of my life. She's 86, I'm 63. And through everything that we've gone to and gone through, my mom has stayed steady in all four of those attributes. That was my demonstration and her gift to me. So today's letter might look like this, and it's not up there. Dear Mom, I want to thank you for your undying love that has seen me and upheld me through times of trouble, for your untiring sacrifice with such an example of how to be with people in times of need, for your untold influence, who showed me that nothing worth getting was worth having unless it was accompanied by diligence, integrity, and passion. And finally, for your unfailing faith, which eventually led me back to God, my purpose, and serving others. I am truly blessed and grateful. I love you, Sis. Thank you. Have a blessed Mother's Day.